Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here. Last night, we saw an awesome Fan Fridays. So Swoobat, holding a weakness policy with the simple ability, gets hit by Fling with a Salac Berry and gets a ton of stat boost. And when you look at it, it's pretty obvious how it happens. Swoobat is a Psychic type, Fling is super effective, procs weakness policy, and then Simple makes it to where it gets 4 stages in attack and special attack, just right off the bat right there. On top of that, Salac Berry. Whenever you fling a Salac, Patea, Lychee Berry, or any of those kind of berries, it actually gives the stat boost. So that means now you're giving speed, and this is actually an idea that you could use on almost any Pokemon if you think about it. So anyway, the speed gets boosted twice because of the simple ability, and then Swoobat goes and uses Amnesia to make itself even tankier, thus giving us 14, I believe, stages, because we have times 4, times 4, times 4, and then a times 2. That's insane. And it also created for a crazy sweep because stored power ends up getting a ridiculous amount of damage. Plus 20 power for each stat boost. Well, 14 plus 20, or 14 times 20 plus 20. We had a lot of power going through there. And then I was trying to think about the other ways that this strategy works. So what we saw was we also saw a, Drapion. Drapion has Acupressure, and it's a very tanky Pokemon that can use Fling. So it seems very reliable. The idea is, you endure that hit, you fling it onto Swoobat. Swoobat isn't seen as much of a threat, so it's not going to get focused. Now it has an insane amount of speed, now it's just going to be a Pokemon that's insane overall. Drapion has Acupressure, thus raising another stat by 4 randomly. Unfortunately, we saw Accuracy, but if it's defense or another offense, it could be insane. So that's why the strategy is pretty crazy on the surface. I'm not going to say it's the greatest strategy ever. I'm not going to go out and be like, oh my god, this is super insanely busted, but it is a crazy strategy. The problem I see here is there's a lot of vulnerabilities. Fake Out, I think that could shut it down really well. Also, Swoobat doesn't seem like an incredibly tanky Pokemon. If it gets focus fired, or even hits super effective after getting hit by the Fling, you don't have much. Also, the Pokemon using Fling isn't hitting an opponent. It isn't locking down one of the opponents. It's trying to set up Swoobat or whatever Pokemon that you're going to make this work with. So there are a lot of give and takes, but if you can see the right opening, I think it can work incredibly well. So Drapion seemed like a very reliable Pokemon. I was thinking that for the Swoobat, this might be the better spread. I don't know the spread that the other Swoobat had, but so far, I like what I see with this, because generally, you're going to want to endure as many hits as possible, and since you're using Amnesia on that first turn potentially, try to get more defensive boost. Hell, you could even go max defense, little into the special defense, and then try to get those boosts rolling from there. On top of that, I don't see special attack being too necessary, because you are getting times 3 special attack in the first turn, which means close to 600 special attack, just like that, and stored power is going to one-hit KO anything that isn't dark type, really. On top of that, I was thinking Air Cutter potential. Air Cutter would be so much better on this strategy. Like, if it had 80 base power, 90 base power, just a little more base power would be insane, because it hits both the opponent's Pokemon, which means what you could do is you could try to go for that times 4 special attack, put a lot more special attack investment, hit both of your opponent's Pokemon, and score 2 KOs. But after running some calculations, because Air Cutter's damage is so low, you can't even one-hit KO most Pokemon, even with a +4 or even a +6. So I'd save this for a super effective hit, or just trying to like clear out the field if both of the opponent's Pokemon are already low from something. That way you can get a double hit KO instead of worrying about a single KO from stored power, which does still make you vulnerable if they don't get a good hit on you. Like, you're still pretty defensively weak, and I can see that being a problem if you get hit super effective. Like, I think a Kangaskhan Sucker Punch would say goodnight to you if you're trying to hit it with a stored power. So, other Pokemon I was thinking about that could make this strategy work. Alakazam. I was thinking, why not try a faster idea of the strategy? Instead of throwing a Salac Berry, throw a Patea Berry. Weakness policy is going to proc, you're going to have an incredible amount of speed, and then you're going to already be times 2.5 on your special attack. So at level 50, it's going to look insane. Let's do level 100 really quick so we can get some quicker math, I think. So yeah, that is going to be over 7, I think that's close to 900. Don't math me, because I'm not that great on math on the fly. But that's a lot of special attack. So I was thinking Dazzling Gleam hits both opponents. If they have a Garchomp or a Hydreigon or a Salamence or something like that, you can score a KO, get chip damage on the opponent. Other than that, Psychic is going to one-hit KO almost anything. Energy Ball for coverage. And that's great. I also have Inner Focus, because if they try to flinch you, it'll fail. Or, well, yeah, it'll still do damage on the Fake Out, but it won't flinch, and then your strategy still survives. So that's like a little tech right there. You could use Magic Guard Synchronized, but in this case, Inner Focus is the best option, just in case for the one of the few things that can shut this strategy down. Now you might be looking and wondering, why are these speed EVs so weird? Why am I having hit points? Well, if you go down to level 50, which is where the flat battles level you down to, 185 speed. For the Alakazam strategy, I was thinking about Hawlucha. Hawlucha is a good fling Pokemon. Instead of having Drapion, you could have Hawlucha for this strategy as well, and that's what I like about the strategy. A lot of diversity. I was trying to make Alakazam work with it, Swoobat, other tankier Pokemon. Heck, just throwing one of these berries is a good strategy in its own if you can come up with the right amount of support. Like, it doesn't even have to be on a weakness policy or anything like that, because I mean, this Alakazam strategy is fast, you know? You're setting up that Psychic, you're going for the kill on the first turn. Swoobat, little more setup. Hawlucha is going to give you a lot of that, and also if you have a Pokemon that receives the fling with Fake Out, fling, only one Pokemon has the opportunity to attack, you can make it work out from there. So, Unburden ability on Hawlucha, you fling, you get your speed boost, but on that first turn, you're going to be faster. So the thing is, you have to be faster or else the fling doesn't work, which is why Alakazam, since it has a higher base speed than Hawlucha, you have to put less speed investment, and then the strategy can work. So 187, 185. It's weird because these 4 EVs actually, if I could actually get the 4 EVs, the 4 EVs end up boosting you by 2 points from here, so you just have to go with the 185. Interesting little tidbit right there. On top of that, hit points so you can kind of survive, and then Skydrop. So now you're going to have a super speedy Skydrop. Take away one of the opponents, Alakazam one-hit KOs, when that new one lands, Alakazam finishes it off, and then you have some vulnerabilities in between there, but I mean, that's still 3 Pokemon KO for your 2 Pokemon setup. You should be able to take it from there. And then Swoobat, other Pokemon, you know, you're looking for bulky or incredibly sweeper Psychic or Ghost type Pokemon if you're using the weakness policy. If you're not using the weakness policy, you can still come up with, you know, other simple Pokemon trying to throw that berry into something. Like, the fling idea is actually pretty crazy, and I didn't see it coming. So here's a couple of the options that you can have. A lot of fling Pokemon out there, a lot of receiving Pokemon out there. If you can make it work, awesome. I want to see this strategy grow and flourish because it might get a little better. This is kind of one of the better ones, but still very vulnerable. So we have another spin of strategy this week, kind of in shenanigan gimmicks that can go and sweep entire teams like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a nice day.